The stars heard their cry and sent the monsters of Earth. Its people were gentle, intelligent, and unlike any species humans had encountered before. They had slender bodies, soft, glowing skin, and large, curious eyes that reflected the beauty of their forests and oceans. For centuries, Litherans lived in harmony with nature, building cities that floated above sparkling rivers and glowing forests. Their technology was advanced but graceful, designed to preserve the life around them. Yet for all their intelligence, they were no match for the horrors approaching from the void. The first warning came as a streak of light across Lithera's upper atmosphere. Ships, dark and menacing, pierced the skies. They were unlike anything the Litherans had seen, armored vessels bristling with weapons and shields. The Orcian Empire, a ruthless conqueror of planets, had found Lithera. Panic spread across Lithera's floating cities. Alerts rang through the air, and families hurried to the safety of underground shelters. The Litheran leaders, known as the Council of Seven, gathered urgently in the largest chamber of their capital. "Peace has always protected us," said Councillor Vera, her voice trembling. "But the Orcians do not care for peace. They will take what they want. We cannot fight them with our ships. They will overwhelm us." A younger councillor, Lurin, shook his head. "Then we must call for help. We cannot face this alone. Perhaps the stars themselves will hear us." With heavy hearts, the Litherans activated a stellar beacon, sending a signal into the vastness of space. It was more than a message. It was a cry for help, a plea to any species capable of aiding them. The signal carried a simple, urgent code: "Save us, or we are lost." On the edge of the Ceres outpost, humans monitored the deep space signals. This outpost was a small research station floating near an asteroid belt. Scientists and explorers had long studied cosmic phenomena, distant planets, and alien signals. Dr. Elena Cruz, a xenobiologist known for her courage and curiosity, sat in front of the main console. Her fingers moved over the controls as the beacon's strange energy patterns displayed on the screen. This is not normal," Elena murmured, leaning closer. "The signal is structured, intelligent, and it's urgent." Her colleague, Commander Rajan, peered over her shoulder. "It's from a world near the edge of mapped space. Could be pirates, a distress call, or something else." Elena shook her head. "I've studied many distress signals, Rajan. This is different. Whoever sent this, they are pleading for their lives. And they are not like any species I've ever seen. I can feel it. They are good. We can't ignore this." The human team debated the risks. The journey to Lithera would be long, and the unknowns were terrifying. Space was filled with dangers: hostile empires, black holes, and cosmic storms. Some suggested ignoring the call, but Elena's passion was unstoppable. "Do you want to be the species that let another civilization die because it was inconvenient?" she asked, her voice firm. "We have the technology, the ships, and the strength. Humanity cannot stay silent while lives are at stake," Commander Rajan sighed. "If we go, it's not just a mission, it's war, and we don't know who or what we will face." Elena smiled, not cruelly, but with determination. "Then let us at least give them a chance to survive. If we do nothing, there is no chance at all." Meanwhile, on Lithera, the Orcian fleet descended like a shadow across the sky. Their ships blocked the sun, and their weapons fired energy beams that cut through forests and rivers without mercy. Panic gripped the Litheran population. Children cried, families clung to one another, and leaders searched desperately for a solution. In the council chamber, the Litherans' hope rested on the distant stars. They watched the blinking lights of their beacon, imagining that somewhere in the infinite darkness, a savior might come. Days passed. The human ships approached the outer orbit of Lithera, carefully avoiding the Orcian patrols. Elena's team prepared for contact with the alien world. Their approach was cautious but deliberate. Humanity had weapons, yes, but they also had something more important: ingenuity and courage. Elena observed the Litheran cities from her ship's viewport. The architecture was breathtaking: floating platforms shaped like leaves, bridges glowing with soft light, and the rivers of the planet reflecting the colors of its twin moons. It was beautiful and in danger. "Prepare for landing," Elena commanded. Her voice carried authority and calm. "We don't know what we will face, but we must reach them before it is too late." Her crew nodded. Among them were engineers, soldiers, and xenobiologists. They were ready to face anything, yet none of them truly knew what awaited them on the surface. When the humans finally landed, they were met with fear and curiosity. Litherans had never seen humans before. Tall, strong, and armored, with faces pale under the glare of Lithera's sun, the humans were imposing. Yet Alina approached slowly, hands raised in peace. "I am Dr. Alina Cruz," she said clearly, in a language the Litherans' translation devices could interpret. "We received your call. We are here to help." The Litherans stared wide-eyed. Some were doubtful, some relieved, and others simply in awe. One young Litheran, Kale, stepped forward. You heard our cry?" he asked, his voice trembling. "We thought no one would come." Alina nodded. "We heard, and we are here. You are not alone." Counselor Vera stepped forward, her glowing skin flickering with nervous energy. "Your arrival, it is unexpected. Few species in the universe take notice of the helpless. How can we trust you?" Alina smiled softly. "Trust is earned in action. We may be different, but we are capable of courage, and we will stand with you." But before any plans could be made, a shadow passed over the city. From above, Orixian ships loomed, preparing to attack. Litheran shields flared, trying to protect their homes, but the humans saw quickly that conventional Litheran defenses would not be enough. Alina turned to her crew. "We need a solution, fast, something they do not expect." At that moment, she remembered the Earth's hidden strengths, the creatures humans had preserved, the apex predators, and the genetically enhanced species designed to survive any environment. They were Earth's monsters, terrifying and powerful. She looked at the Litherans and spoke with calm confidence. "We have something extraordinary, not just our weapons, but allies unlike anything you've seen. If you are willing to trust us, we can fight back. We can protect your planet." The Litherans hesitated, unsure whether the humans, monsters, were friend or threat, but desperation forced them to make a choice. The Orixian ships were closing, their energy beams ready to strike. Kale, the young Litheran, stepped forward. We accept your help." "Do not let them destroy us," Alina nodded. "Then let's show them the stars are listening, and humanity does not ignore a cry for help." The first skirmish was quiet but terrifying. Humans deployed drones and observation devices, analyzing the Orixian fleet. The Litherans watched in awe as humans coordinated with precision and strategy. Alina stood at the edge of a platform, overlooking the city. Her mind raced. This was only the beginning. If they could hold the enemy for a few hours, they could prepare the monsters, the creatures from Earth that had never set foot beyond their planet. These monsters, with strength, intelligence, and adaptability, could turn the tide of battle. And so, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting Lithera in red and gold, a new hope emerged. The stars had heard the Litherans' cry. Humans had answered. And soon the monsters of Earth would follow, ready to change the course of destiny. The Orixian fleet hovered over Lithera like a dark cloud. Their ships were massive, bristling with energy weapons, shields humming, and engines glowing with cold light. Litherans huddled inside their floating cities, watching helplessly as shadows passed over their homes. Dr. Alina Cruz paced in the human command module, her eyes scanning the screens filled with enemy data. Ships moved in formations she had never seen before, alien weapons bristled with unknown energy, and the enemy was calculating, precise, and ruthless. "We can't fight them the way Litherans do," she said softly, mostly to herself. "Not with their defenses alone or ours. We need something stronger, something unpredictable." Commander Rajan leaned against the console. "You mean the monsters?" Alina nodded. "Yes, Earth's creatures, the apex species. They are unique, smart, adaptable, strong, and they obey humans when trained carefully. They may be our only chance." Rajan shook his head slightly. "It's risky. Litherans have never seen anything like that. They may panic." "They are already panicked," Alina replied. "Better to panic at a controlled power than be crushed by the Orixians." In a hidden section of the human ship, massive containers began to open. Each one held a creature from Earth, preserved through advanced technology, genetically enhanced to survive extreme conditions, and trained to respond to human commands. There were enormous raptors, faster and smarter than any known dinosaur. There were massive cephalopods, their tentacles able to manipulate objects with astonishing precision. Even terrestrial predators, like wolves and bears, had been enhanced for intelligence and teamwork. Each creature was a living weapon, but more importantly, they were capable of understanding strategy, adapting on the battlefield, and sensing danger. Alina approached one of the containment chambers. A massive raptor looked at her with intelligent eyes, tilting its head slightly. She reached out her hand. "Good. Today you become a hero, not for destruction, but to save lives." The creature let out a low growl, not of anger but recognition. It understood. Meanwhile, the Litherans watched from a safe distance. They had never seen humans interact with creatures of this size or intelligence. Some trembled in fear, others were curious. Counselor Vera asked Alina cautiously, "These beings you bring, they are dangerous. Are you sure they will help, or will they destroy everything?" Alina smiled gently. "They will help. They are trained, loyal, and intelligent. Just as you place trust in your shields and ships, we place trust in them. They are Earth's strongest, and today they fight for your world." Kale, the young Litheran, stepped closer, eyes wide. They are magnificent, but can they fight the Oryxians?" Alina nodded. "They can, and with human strategy we can turn this battle around." The humans worked quickly. Raptors were released into controlled enclosures above the city to acclimate to Lithera's atmosphere. Giant cephalopods floated in water-filled tanks, their tentacles moving gracefully. Wolves and bears were placed in training zones where they could practice coordination with humans and sensors. Alina's team communicated with each creature, using advanced neural interfaces that allowed humans to give commands in real time. The creatures learned quickly, responding to strategy drills and adapting to unpredictable scenarios. "Look at their response time," Alina said proudly to Rajan. "They think faster than any weapon we've used. They anticipate, they adapt, they strategize in ways even humans can't fully predict." Rajan watched a raptor leap from one platform to another, avoiding energy beams in a simulation. "It's incredible and terrifying. If the Oryxians knew what we were doing, they would retreat instantly." "They won't know," Alina said. "That's the advantage. The Oryxians think they face ordinary humans and normal ships. They won't expect Earth's monsters." As night fell on Lithera, the first battle began. The humans deployed small, fast units to distract the enemy. Raptors raced across rooftops and streets, dodging energy blasts, tearing through smaller enemy drones, and herding enemy scouts into traps. Litherans watched in awe. Some gasped as raptors leapt across rooftops, tearing through the enemy ships, sensors, and communications. Others hid in fear, uncertain whether to trust the humans or flee. Alina gave commands calmly. "Focus on coordination. Raptors flank left. Cephalopods prepare for engagement in the river channels. Wolves cover the retreating civilians if needed." The creatures obeyed flawlessly. Even in the chaos of battle, they maintained order, adapting as the enemy shifted formations. The human strategy was simple but brilliant. Use the monsters, natural instincts, and combine them with human planning to create maximum disruption. In the rivers below, the giant cephalopods emerged. Their tentacles rose from the water, wrapping around enemy ships like living chains. Energy beams struck their limbs, but they were resilient, pulling enemy vessels into traps and forcing them to crash into each other. Alina smiled at the success. "This is just the beginning." They are smart, strong, and adaptable, and they fight for life, not just destruction. The Litherans began to see the humans in a new light. They were not just powerful, they were creative, courageous, and willing to risk themselves to protect another species. Their strategy was unlike anything Litherans had known. Kale whispered to Counselor Vera, "Humans, they are not like us. They are something more, and these creatures, they are part of it." Back in the city, a massive raptor leapt onto the roof of an enemy ship. Its claws tore through the armor, exposing weak points. Humans operating from drones guided the attack, ensuring maximum efficiency. The enemy soldiers were terrified. They had never faced anything like this. One Oryxian commander shouted orders, but his fleet was in chaos. Ships collided, shields failed, and panic spread among the Oryxian ranks. The humans' monsters were unpredictable, intelligent, and unstoppable in this first engagement. Alina directed from the command module. "Now, push forward. Use the monsters to drive them away from the city. We are not here to destroy Lithera. We are here to save it." The strategy worked perfectly. Raptors and cephalopods, wolves and bears, coordinated with human units to form a living, breathing defense. The Oryxians had no experience with such forces and were forced to retreat, at least temporarily. As the enemy withdrew, the Litherans emerged from their shelters. Their floating cities were scarred but intact, thanks to humans and Earth's monsters. Children ran to see the creatures, no longer terrified but fascinated. The raptors tilted their heads, the cephalopods waved their tentacles gently, and the wolves and bears stood proudly, as if they understood the gratitude directed at them. Counselor Vera approached Elena. I do not know what to say. Your creatures, your methods, they are extraordinary. Lithra is alive today because of you. Elena shook her head. It is not just humans, it is cooperation, strategy, courage, and yes, a little bit of surprise. The stars heard your cry and we answered, but the fight is not over. We must prepare for the next wave. The Eryxians will return stronger. Kale stepped forward, eyes shining with hope. We are lucky to have you. Humans, you are unlike anyone we imagined. Elena smiled. Luck is part of it, but preparation, courage, and determination matter more. That is what humans bring. That is what Earth's monsters bring. Together, we are stronger than anyone could imagine. That night, as Lithra's twin moons rose in the sky, humans and Litherans worked side by side. The monsters rested, but they were ready, their sharp senses alert to any sign of danger. Humans taught Litherans how to coordinate with them, showing strategies, signals, and commands. Elena watched the scene quietly, pride swelling in her chest. She realized something fundamental. Humans were capable of more than just survival. They could inspire, protect, and lead. And the universe, for all its dangers, had not yet seen the full measure of humanity's ingenuity. Above the city, the stars twinkled silently, as if acknowledging the courage of those below. Lithra had survived the first day of battle, thanks to the alliance between humans and Earth's monsters. But the universe was vast, and the Eryxians were far from defeated. Elena knew the next battle would be harder. Yet, for the first time, she felt a surge of confidence. Humanity had brought more than weapons. They had brought hope, courage, and creatures that no one could have predicted. And the Litherans, once helpless, now had allies they could trust. The stars had heard their cry, and indeed, the monsters of Earth were on their side. The sky above Lithra was alive with movement. Eryxian ships hung in the dark void like predator shadows, their weapons glowing with deadly energy. The humans stood ready on the ground, alongside the monsters they had brought from Earth. Raptors, cephalopods, wolves, and giant bears waited patiently, sensing the danger, their instincts perfectly tuned to the humans' commands. Doctor. Elena Cruz looked over the battlefield, analyzing the formations of the Eryxians. They learned from the first encounter, she said quietly. We underestimated their adaptability. This time we must be smarter, Commander Rajan nodded. They are organized now, but we have something they do not. Creatures of raw power, intelligence, and instinct. If we coordinate correctly, they will break the enemy lines. The Litherans watched from above, floating in their city platforms. They had begun to trust humans, though fear lingered in their hearts. Still, the humans' calm confidence and the monsters' presence gave them hope they had never felt before. Elena activated the neural link devices for the monsters. Raptors clicked their claws and screeched, ready to obey. The giant cephalopods extended their tentacles, sensing every vibration. Wolves barked softly, circling strategically, while the massive bears shifted, muscles tensing for the fight ahead. Phase 1, Elena commanded. Raptors flank from the left. Wolves and bears protect civilians. Cephalopods prepare to immobilize the larger ships in the rivers and channels. Humans stay coordinated. We move as one. The monsters sprang into action. Raptors launched themselves from rooftops, moving faster than the human eye could track. Their claws shredded enemy drones, tearing through armor while avoiding deadly energy beams. Wolves ran along streets and bridges, herding smaller enemy units into traps set by humans. The bears charged with force, knocking smaller ships aside and creating openings for the raptors. From the rivers, giant cephalopods struck. Their tentacles wrapped around enemy ships, pulling them into the water, crushing armor and disabling weapons. The Eryxians were unprepared for such a coordinated living attack. Panic spread among their crews. Litherans gasped in amazement. They had seen humans demonstrate strategy in the first battle, but this was different. Humans were not only strong, they were creative. They adapted their environment, used terrain, and leveraged the monsters' instincts in ways the Eryxians could not predict. Kale, the young Litheran, pointed to a massive raptor leaping across rooftops. It knows what to do, he exclaimed. It fights like it understands. Elena smiled, watching the coordinated attack. They do understand. They can sense strategy, danger, and opportunity. That is why we brought them. That is why humans work with them, not just for strength, but for intelligence. The battle intensified. Eryxian ships tried to regroup, firing massive energy beams toward the monsters. The humans countered, directing the monsters' movement to avoid the blasts while simultaneously striking weak points. One of the raptors leapt onto the hull of a ship, claws digging into the alien metal. Its sharp teeth punctured the armor, exposing the core. A human-operated drone then fired a precision energy shot, causing a controlled explosion that disabled the ship without harming the city below. Litherans watched in awe. "Such coordination," Counselor Vera whispered. "Humans, they are not like any other species we have seen." "They are extraordinary," Kale nodded. "And their creatures, they fight with them not just for them, they are partners." Alina noticed a large enemy cruiser advancing, its weapons focused on the human command module. She called out orders quickly. "All units focus on the cruiser. Raptors climb to its upper structure. Cephalopods wrap the lower hull. Bears flank to the sides. Wolves intercept reinforcements. Move fast, precision is key." The monsters obeyed with surprising intelligence. Raptors leapt in a coordinated pattern, tearing at the armor panels. Cephalopods wrapped around the hull, crushing engines and disabling shields. Bears collided with smaller enemy units, while wolves intercepted reinforcements and drew them away from the main battle. The cruiser shuddered, sparks flying as its systems failed. Finally, it broke formation and retreated into the void, leaving the remaining fleet disoriented. Litherans were no longer afraid. They floated above the city, cheering and waving. Children pointed excitedly at the monsters, who now seemed like heroes in their eyes. One of the giant cephalopods waved a tentacle gently, as if acknowledging the gratitude. Kale turned to Counselor Vera. "They are incredible. Humans, their strategy, their courage, it is like nothing we imagined." Vera nodded slowly. "They are more than protectors, they are teachers. Lithera will not forget this day." But Alina knew the battle was not yet won. The Oryxians were retreating, yes, but they would return, stronger and more organized. She had to push the advantage now to ensure the city's safety. "Prepare for Phase 2, she said. "We will turn the battlefield into a trap." "The Oryxians think they know humans. They think we fight like them. They are wrong." Raptors move to the upper city platforms and create obstacles. Cephalopods prepare to pull enemy units into the channels. Wolves and bears ready for rapid deployment. Humans stay alert and adaptive. We hit them together and we do not let them regroup. The monsters responded immediately, moving with speed and precision. The human strategy combined adaptability, environmental advantage, and raw power. It was a battlefield unlike anything the universe had ever seen. The second wave of Oryxian ships arrived, larger and more coordinated than before. They fired energy beams toward the city, but humans had prepared. Raptors leapt from rooftops, flanking the cruisers and tearing through outer armor. Wolves and bears intercepted smaller craft, herding them into cephalopods' grasp. Cephalopods crushed ships in the rivers, immobilizing them before they could attack. Alina monitored the battle from the command module. "Keep pressure, adapt to their movements, predict their strategy. They are clever but not cleverer than us. Move as one, humans and monsters together, no gaps, no mistakes." The monsters' intelligence became clear. Raptors adjusted mid-leap to avoid energy blasts. Cephalopods sensed weak points in armor and focused their strength there. Wolves coordinated with bears to trap enemy units. The battlefield was alive, chaotic, and perfectly orchestrated by humans' guidance and the monsters' instincts. One particularly massive raptor, named Talon by Alina's team, leapt onto a flagship. Its claws tore through energy shields as it avoided blasts. Humans guided it remotely with precision, targeting vital points on the ship. Sparks flew, metal groaned, and finally the flagship was disabled, drifting helplessly in space. The remaining Oryxian fleet faltered. Confusion spread among their ranks and morale fell. The humans' monsters were unlike anything the enemy had ever faced, intelligent, adaptive, and unpredictable. Litherans floated above, cheering, no longer hiding in fear. Their children pointed at the monsters, smiling and laughing. Even the adults were amazed, seeing courage and intelligence combined in both humans and creatures. Kale approached Alina. They fight with purpose. They understand. It is incredible." Alina nodded. "Yes, Kale, they are not just powerful, they are aware. They think, they adapt, and they protect. And today they protect your world." Counselor Vera spoke softly, almost to herself. "Lithera will remember this day forever. Humans and their creatures, they are something else entirely." The battle continued into the night. Humans and monsters maintained control, forcing the Oryxians to retreat again. The city was battered but safe, thanks to the teamwork of humans and monsters. For the first time, Litherans felt that they could survive this invasion. Alina reflected on the battle. Humans had more than weapons. They had creativity, courage, and a deep understanding of strategy. The monsters were not mindless beasts. They were partners, thinking, acting, and fighting with intelligence that rivaled any alien technology. "This is just the beginning," Alina said quietly. "They will come again, but now Lithera has hope, and humans bring more than strength. We bring courage, ingenuity, and allies the universe never expected." As dawn approached, the city began to recover. The monsters returned to designated zones to rest, and humans worked with Litherans to repair damage. The alliance between species had formed stronger than anyone imagined. Humans and Earth's monsters had proven that courage, strategy, and determination could overcome even the most advanced enemies. Above, the stars twinkled silently, as if acknowledging the triumph below. The first day of the battle was over, but the war was far from finished. Yet humans had shown the universe a truth Litherans would never forget. When humanity answers a call for help, the impossible becomes possible. The monsters of Earth had struck, and the galaxy had taken notice. The sky over Lithera was calm for the first time in days. The Oryxians had retreated, but humans and Litherans knew it was only temporary. The enemy would return, stronger and smarter. Preparation became the top priority. Dr. Alina Cruz stood on a platform above the city, observing the bustling human-Litheran collaboration. Raptors patrolled the rooftops, wolves and bears practiced coordination drills with Litheran soldiers, and giant cephalopods trained in the rivers, simulating attacks on approaching ships. "This is no longer just defense," Alina said to Commander Rajan. "This is preparation for a counterattack. We need to turn this city and planet into a fortress, one that uses intelligence, creativity, and the raw power of our monsters." Rajan nodded. "Litherans are quick learners. They understand strategy now, and our monsters respond to commands faster than we expected. The Oryxians will not know what hit them." Counselor Vera and Kale joined them, floating on the platforms. "We trust you," Vera said. "Lithera will follow your plan." "Teach us to fight alongside your creatures," Alina smiled. "That is exactly what we will do. Every Litheran will be a partner in this defense, not just a bystander." Kale tilted his head. "The monsters, they are amazing. How do we communicate with them?" Alina held up a small neural interface device. "These devices allow you to communicate simple commands, but more importantly, the monsters can sense intent and urgency. If you act with confidence and strategy, they will follow. Courage matters more than words." Kale's eyes widened. "Courage? Yes, I think I understand." The humans organized the Litheran population into training units. Raptors worked alongside Litheran scouts, learning the city's layout and teaching tactical movement. Wolves and bears patrolled civilian zones, ensuring safety while maintaining readiness. Cephalopods practiced ambush techniques in the rivers, learning to strike swiftly and retreat safely. Alina watched the exercises with pride. The Litherans, once timid and fearful, were now confident. They ran drills with monsters, learned to anticipate enemy movements, and developed strategies that combined their own technology with human tactics. "We're creating a hybrid defense," Alina explained to Rajan. "Litheran shields, human strategy, and Earth's monsters. It's the first time in the galaxy something like this has existed." Rajan grinned. "And it's working. The monsters are learning too. They adapt faster than the humans predicted. This is going to surprise the Oryxians." Meanwhile, scouts detected the Oryxian fleet returning from a nearby system. Their numbers had increased, and their formation was more organized. The humans analyzed the data. "They have learned from the last encounters," Alina said, frowning. "They are approaching with heavy cruisers and long-range bombardment ships. If we react passively, Lithera will not survive." "Then we fight proactively," Rajan said. "We strike before they reach full formation, disrupt their strategy, and force them into our traps." Alina nodded. "Exactly. This is why our monsters are key. They can engage faster than ships, strike unpredictably, and coordinate with humans and Litherans. That's our edge." The humans and Litherans worked together to set up the city as a battlefield. Rooftops were strengthened for raptor patrols. Bridges and platforms were reinforced for wolves and bears to move quickly. Rivers were modified to create ambush zones for cephalopods. Defensive energy shields were integrated with natural terrain and monster pathways. Counselor Vera observed the preparations. "I have never seen Lithra so alive with purpose," she said. "Your creatures, your methods, they inspire courage, not fear." Elena smiled. "That is the essence of strategy. Fear can paralyze, courage can create opportunity. And today we turn courage into power." Kale nodded. "We will not be afraid. We will fight with humans and with their monsters." Night fell, and the Eryxian fleet appeared on the horizon. Hundreds of ships, bristling with weapons, advanced steadily. The humans activated their neural links, and the monsters prepared for action. Raptors crouched on rooftops, claws ready. Wolves and bears positioned themselves along streets and bridges. Cephalopods stirred in the rivers, ready to strike at any moment. Elena stood at the command center, calm and focused. "Remember, this is not just a battle. This is a demonstration of strategy, courage, and adaptability. Fight smart, move together, and protect Lithra at all costs." The first wave of Eryxian scouts advanced. Energy beams cut across the sky, but the monsters moved with speed and precision. Raptors leapt from rooftop to rooftop, disrupting enemy formations. Wolves and bears herded smaller units into traps. Cephalopods pulled enemy ships into rivers, immobilizing them. Litherans watched in awe. "They are unstoppable," whispered Kale. "The humans and the monsters, they are incredible together." Elena directed the battle with precision. Raptors target upper decks, cephalopods focus on engines, wolves flank and block reinforcements. Bears hold the center line, humans coordinate and adapt. The monsters obeyed flawlessly. One massive raptor named Talon leapt onto an Eryxian cruiser, tearing through armor with ease. A human drone fired at the cruiser's weak points, causing a controlled explosion. Cephalopods immobilized multiple smaller ships, preventing them from retreating or regrouping. Wolves and bears forced enemy reinforcements into kill zones. The Eryxians were caught off guard. Their formations broke apart. Confusion spread through the fleet as humans and monsters struck with precision. Litherans, once fearful, now participated in the defense. They coordinated energy shields, fired guided drones, and directed civilians to safety. Raptors responded to their commands, cephalopods followed human guidance, and wolves and bears protected key zones. Counselor Vera floated near Elena. "Your methods, they empower our people. We are no longer helpless. Lithra has hope because of you and your creatures." Elena nodded. "Hope is just the start. Courage, strategy, and partnership make us strong. Together, humans, Litherans, and monsters can achieve what none could alone." Kale's eyes shone. "We will fight. We will not let the Eryxians destroy us. We trust humans and their monsters." The battle intensified. The Eryxians unleashed heavy bombardments, but the monsters, mobility, and humans' strategy kept Lithra safe. Raptors leapt onto ships, cephalopods crushed hulls, wolves and bears blocked reinforcements. Human drones and Litheran shields amplified the effect, creating a coordinated defense unlike anything the universe had seen. Elena smiled, watching the chaos unfold. "They think they understand humans. They think they can predict us, but they cannot. Not when our monsters and humans fight as one." Hours passed, and the Eryxians began to retreat once more. The humans and monsters had disrupted their formations, destroyed key vessels, and protected the city. Lithra was battered but intact. Civilians cheered as raptors, wolves, bears, and cephalopods returned to their zones. Humans coordinated repairs and resupply, ensuring the monsters were ready for the next wave. Counselor Vera approached Elena. "You have done more than defend Lithra. You have transformed us. Our people are no longer helpless. We have courage, strategy, and allies we could not imagine." Elena shook her head. "It is not just me. It is humans, monsters, and Litherans working together. That is why we are strong. That is why we will survive." Kale added, "We will remember this always. The humans and the monsters, they are heroes." As the first light of Lithra's twin suns rose, humans and Litherans worked together to repair the city, strengthen defenses, and prepare for future battles. The monsters rested, alert and ready. The alliance was stronger than ever. Elena looked to the stars. The Eryxians would return, no doubt, but humanity had proven something vital. When courage, intelligence, and strength are combined, even the most advanced enemy can be challenged. The stars had heard the Litherans' cry, humans had answered, and the monsters of Earth were ready. Tomorrow, the final wave would arrive, and Lithra would not face it alone. The sky above Lithra glowed with an eerie red light. The Eryxians had returned, this time in full force. Hundreds of ships, bristling with weapons and shields, advanced with deadly precision. Their massive war cruisers stretched across the horizon like a moving fortress, and smaller drones swarmed around them, preparing for the ultimate strike. Dr. Elena Cruz stood at the command module, calm and focused. Around her, humans, Litherans, and Earth's monsters prepared for the decisive battle. The monsters sensed the danger, muscles tensing, claws digging into rooftops, tentacles curling in anticipation, wolves and bears shifting like living engines of power. "This is it," Elena said quietly to Commander Rajan. "The Eryxians are here to end the fight, but today we show them the strength of humanity, courage, and partnership with these creatures. Lithra will not fall." Rajan nodded, his eyes scanning the approaching fleet. "Every human, Litheran, and monster knows their role. We will fight together. We will be unstoppable." Counselor Vera and Kale floated beside them. "Humans, your creatures, they have already changed our world. Now we fight together, not just for survival, but for our pride and freedom." Elena smiled. "Exactly. Courage matters more than fear, strategy matters more than raw power, and determination can overcome the strongest enemy." Kale nodded. "We are ready." Lithra stands with humans and their monsters. The humans initiated the neural link with the monsters. Raptors crouched on rooftops, claws ready. Wolves and bears formed defensive lines and rapid response units. Cephalopods stirred in the rivers, their tentacles like living siege engines. Humans and Litherans coordinated signals, movements, and attacks in perfect synchronization. "This is not just defense," Elena said into the communicator. "This is a demonstration of strategy, adaptability, and courage. We hit them before they can strike, and we control the battlefield." The first wave of Eryxian drones reached the city perimeter. Energy beams cut through the air, but the monsters moved with unmatched speed and precision. Raptors leapt from rooftops, tearing through drones and enemy sensors. Wolves and bears intercepted smaller units, guiding them into ambush zones. Cephalopods struck from rivers, crushing enemy drones and immobilizing vessels. Humans directed the creatures with calm authority. "Flank left, block reinforcements, focus on the cruisers." Every command was executed perfectly. The Eryxian fleet was thrown into chaos. Their formations broke apart as monsters moved unpredictably, striking from unexpected angles. Raptors scaled hulls of massive cruisers, claws tearing through armor while humans fired precision energy blasts. Cephalopods wrapped tentacles around engines, pulling cruisers into rivers or channels where they were disabled. Wolves and bears controlled streets and platforms, herding enemy units into kill zones. The human strategy, combined with the monster's intelligence, was unlike anything the Eryxians had encountered. They had expected resistance, but never coordination between humans and living creatures of such power. Elena monitored the battle closely. "Focus on the central fleet," she instructed. "Raptors climb to the upper decks, cephalopods immobilize engines, wolves block reinforcements, bears charge the center line, humans maintain precision." The monsters executed flawlessly. One massive raptor, Talon, leapt onto a flagship, claws tearing through armor while avoiding energy beams. A human drone fired at the vessel's weak points, causing a controlled explosion that disabled the ship without collateral damage to the city. Cephalopods crushed smaller cruisers in the rivers, immobilizing them before they could retreat. Wolves and bears forced enemy reinforcements into traps, preventing regrouping. The Eryxians faltered. Their morale dropped as ships collided, shields failed, and panic spread through the fleet. They had never faced creatures that could think, adapt, and fight alongside humans. Litherans, inspired by the humans, joined the battle with confidence. They deployed energy shields, fired guided drones, and coordinated civilian movements to maximize safety. Raptors and wolves responded to their commands. Cephalopods followed human guidance. Bears guarded strategic zones. The city itself became a living, breathing defense system. Counselor Vera floated near Elena. "Your methods, your courage, they empower us. Lithra is no longer defenseless. Humans, you and your creatures, you have given us hope." Elena shook her head. "It is not just us. It is humans, monsters, and Litherans together. That is why we are strong. That is why we will survive." Kale added, We will never forget this. Humans and your monsters are heroes. The Eryxians launched their final assault. Massive energy bombardments, swarm drones, and heavily armed cruisers converging on the city. The humans and monsters responded immediately. Raptors flanked ships from above, tearing through armor. Cephalopods crushed the lower hulls in rivers, immobilizing vessels. Wolves and bears blocked reinforcements and secured civilians. Humans coordinated attacks with precision, striking at weak points and guiding the monsters with calm authority. The battlefield was chaotic, yet perfectly orchestrated. Energy beams cut through the air, explosions rocked the city, and monsters moved like living machines of strategy and strength. Raptors leapt between ships, tearing through weapons and communications. Cephalopods pulled cruisers into rivers where they were disabled or destroyed. Wolves and bears controlled streets and platforms, forcing enemy units into traps. The Eryxians were overwhelmed. Their formations collapsed under the combined power of humans and monsters. Ships collided, shields failed, and panic spread. They had never faced an enemy that combined intelligence, courage, and adaptability in such a way. Alina gave the final orders. Strike the command cruiser. Raptors upper decks. Cephalopods immobilize engines. Wolves and bears block reinforcements. Humans coordinate all attacks. The monsters executed flawlessly. Talon, the massive raptor, leapt onto the command cruiser, tearing through armor with precision. A human drone fired at its weak points, causing controlled explosions. Cephalopods crushed smaller vessels in rivers. Wolves and bears controlled the streets, preventing reinforcements. The command cruiser exploded, and the remaining Eryxian fleet fled in disarray. Their morale shattered, they retreated into the stars, leaving Lithra victorious. Litherans emerged from their shelters, cheering and celebrating. Children ran to the monsters, touching raptors, wolves, bears, and even cephalopods with awe and admiration. The creatures responded gently, as if sensing the gratitude of those they had protected. Kale approached Alina. Humans, you have saved us. Your creatures, they are magnificent. We owe you everything. Alina shook her head. It is not just us. It is cooperation, strategy, courage, and partnership. Together, we are stronger than anyone could imagine. Counselor Vera spoke softly, tears in her eyes. Lithra will never forget this day. Humans and your monsters, you have shown us the power of courage, intelligence, and heart. You are heroes, Rajan grinned. And we've only just begun. The universe will remember this. Humanity brings more than weapons. We bring hope, creativity, and allies the universe cannot predict. The monsters returned to their designated zones, resting but alert. Humans and Litherans worked together to repair damage, strengthen defenses, and honor the creatures' contributions. Raptors perched proudly, cephalopods waved their tentacles gently, and wolves and bears moved through the streets with calm vigilance. Alina looked to the stars, reflecting on the battle. Humanity had demonstrated something vital. Courage, intelligence, and cooperation could overcome even the most advanced enemies. The monsters were not mindless. They were partners, thinking, adapting, and fighting with awareness. The Eryxians may return, Alina said quietly. But today, humans, Litherans, and monsters have shown that the impossible can be overcome. That courage, strategy, and determination are stronger than fear or force alone. Kale smiled. Lithra is safe because of you, because of humans and your monsters. Alina nodded. Yes, and together we will continue to defend this world, whatever the universe brings. The stars heard your cry and we answered, and we will answer again if needed. Above the city, the stars twinkled as if acknowledging the courage below. Lithra had survived the Eryxian onslaught, thanks to humanity's ingenuity, the monster's strength, and the unity of species. The battle was over, but the lesson was clear. When beings fight with courage, intelligence, and determination, even the most fearsome enemies can be overcome. The humans, Litherans, and monsters of Earth had shown the galaxy that true power lay not in technology alone, but in creativity, cooperation, and the unbreakable spirit of life itself. Lithra would remember this day forever. And the universe had seen that when humanity answers a call for help, no challenge is too great. The monsters of Earth had fought, humans had led, and Lithra had survived. The stars had heard the cry, and their answer had arrived in the most unexpected, unstoppable form.